Okay, and now I have one quick question from the Women's Resource Center.
I'm Erin Harper, and I'm from the Campus Women's Center. Senator Baldwin, how has being a woman in politics affected how you interact with other politicians, and how do you think it's affected how other politicians view you?
Well, I have to say that in some ways it's changed over time. There were fewer women in politics when I first ran for the county board in 1986, although there were a lot of women on the Dane County board. We're a great progressive, forward-looking county, not surprising. But I've seen steady increases over the time that I've served, and I think that has led to greater opportunities for women and greater opportunities for the American public to see women lead, which is always helpful. I've always said we're strongest as a democracy in a legislative, if our legislative bodies kind of look a little bit more like America. And when there's like 2 women out of 100 in the Senate, that doesn't look a lot like America. Well, we're up to 20, still doesn't look like America. 52 actually would probably reflect the nation. That said, what has been so great about serving at this time and being elected to the Senate when a record number of women were elected, 5 of us at once, and so we increased the number of women in the Senate, is that women have been the ones getting things done. So we've had these years of gridlock with no budget. And who breaks through? We have Patty Murray, the chair of the Senate Budget Committee, making a deal finally with Paul Ryan, and we got a bipartisan budget through. Appropriations Committee is chaired by Barbara Mikulski. We'd been struggling for years to get a farm bill passed. Well, Chairwoman Debbie Stabenow came forward, and now we have a farm bill in effect. And it just, issue after issue, the breakthroughs seem to be these women who I work with who just have this let's get it done attitude. It's not ego. It's like, let's just sit down and figure it out. And I will say it's particularly bipartisan in the Senate. Although there's more Democratic women than there are Republican women in the Senate, we have like a monthly or every other month dinner, and we just get around the table. It's like, okay, we need to really make some progress on some of these things, and we'll just put the partisanship aside and say, let's get it done.
Very cool. Okay, we have one more student question. You can plead the fifth on this one because it's a funnier one.
Hi, this is Sex Nerd Sandra, the keynote speaker for Sex Out Loud's Sexual Health Fest, and I'm curious about what's on the inside with the Senate. Like, how do we get them to be more sex positive or more open to better policies around sexual and women's health?
Oh boy, you're talking about a Congress that not so many years ago passed policies for abstinence-only education.
It's hard to think about, yeah.
I just saw a line the other day of putting sex back into sex education. It's been a Congress that over the past few years have sort of run away from the topic rather than run towards it. So, I think as we have undertaken healthcare reform, though, we do have new opportunities that we haven't had in a while. And the fact that we have, for example, made a real priority for free preventative healthcare and define preventative pretty broadly, we're seeing people's true colors around debates like contraception and access to contraception. And I think that's been a really interesting debate to be a part of. People show their true selves when they're a part of this debate. But we've also lived through a very difficult time where a lot of the negative changes are happening at the state legislative level. A lot of the ways in which women's access to comprehensive reproductive health has been restricted at the state level. And it's been a lot of folks fighting defensive battle after defensive battle, when it would be really nice if we could talk about expanding access to comprehensive health care rather than I've had a little bit more of a chance at the federal level to talk about expanding the access, which is good.